What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of DT Podcast. How's everybody doing? How's everybody feeling? Bert Green back in the house. Dude, you're a regular on this show. I don't need to introduce you, but introduce yourself anyway.
Hello, I'm Bert Green. I'm an MMA enthusiast. Uh, what's the word?
Philanthropist.
Hopeful comedian. Yeah, philanthropist. I kind of think my words have escaped me, which isn't great for somebody who wants to be a stand-up comic. Uh, yeah, my words have escaped me. That's terrible. That is comedy in itself, ladies and gentlemen, because I
That's
look
right.
like a knobhead right now. But I'm going to blame it on the beer. And,
That's fine, but we're
yeah,
going to leave it in because we're raw.
yeah,
What
no,
you
we've got
see is what you
raw.
get, you know? So here we are. It's fight week. I think this is actually gonna drop on fight day. So we got UFC
Nice.
283 coming. For anyone who doesn't know who's fighting or what's happening, go to Bert's YouTube, or I don't know what you're on. What exactly are you on?
Well, I'm on YouTube predominantly. It's the Burt Locker on YouTube. I do know that if you type in the Burt Locker on YouTube, it is the first result that comes up now. It wasn't at first. You got to go through 7 pages of the Hurt Locker. Now the Burt Locker is the number one thing. And I'm also on Instagram, the Burt Green on Instagram, and there's a Burt Angle on Instagram, and that's just like a personal account. I don't really post that to that very much anymore. I'm also on TikTok. I forget what my name is. I haven't posted to TikTok in ages, so don't even worry about that really.
Right.
The TikTok shine wore off pretty quick. Gotta be honest. I got like 11,000 views on one video, and then I just stopped. I was like, "That's my peak. That's my ceiling. Done,
Wow. There you go,
done."
man. I I want you guys to do me a favor if you respect and love me. Hit a like or hit a nasty comment, dude. Hit me with some vulgarity in the comment section because I fortunately am part of the generation where we grew up on sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Well, nowadays that culture has drastically changed to I'm a fucking pussy and I can't accept any criticism. So I'm
To be
sure
fair,
you're the
I
same,
always
right?
yeah, I grew up with sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will hurt
Hurt
forever.
forever, scrubs.
Yes, thank you. I knew that you would get that because I knew you were a Scrubs fan.
I love scrubs.
I was testing the water. I was like, how big a Scrubs fan is this guy? Is he gonna get this? And you passed the test.
There you go,
Congratulations
man. I'll
to
drink
you,
to all of
sir.
that, man.
Yes.
But yeah, so as I said, hit me with a like, hit me with a comment. If you're into the dark web, hit me on OnlyFans. You know the drill, guys.
Most
um,
importantly, hit subscribe, hit the bell notifications as well. That's the main thing. It takes like not even a second to click that subscribe button. And even if like you don't want to see like the bell notification go off, just don't click that. It doesn't cost anything to subscribe. Like if you know Dave and you like Dave, you should be hitting that subscribe button. And shame on you if you haven't already. Shame on you.
correct. I agree.
Thank you for watching.
There you go, man. And we love your views. And
We love your views.
one other promotional part is I'm trying to grow the Instagram. So it's DT dot underscore podcast on Instagram. So make sure you guys check my stuff out there. I hit with daily motivations, a lot of sarcasm, and anti woke shit as well. That's what we kind of do.
It's funny.
Yeah, that's what we got to do, man. You got to stand out. You can't be too politically correct these days. I don't care about being cancelled.
Yeah.
One point that I wanted to make, Bert, is when you talk about these things, we joke a lot about it, but um, with the UFC and everything that's happened in the last month, right? I've been watching a lot of Luke Thomas and I've been watching a lot of Ariel Hawani.
Mm-hmm.
And when you compare those two guys and Brendan Schaub from The Fighter and the Kid and the Schaub Show and all that kind of stuff, when you compare those guys to the guys who cover the sports like MMA Junkie, anything to do with like ESPN, all of the mainstream guys who cover the sport who are in the bubble, would you ever be a journalist covered by an umbrella or a company, or would you rather be like loose, like Ariel and all these guys who can ask the tough questions, not worry about getting a salary cut or anything like that?
Hmm. I think obviously the obvious answer is that I would love to sell out and make a lot of money from a big corporation. I don't know. I'm
Yeah.
kidding. What? Look, at the end of the day, if I got offered even half of those jobs, I'd be like living the dream. Let's be fair. But gun to my head, would I want to say what I'm free to say? Yes, yes, I would, because a lot of the time I do say a lot of stuff. Like I don't agree with Ariel Hawani on a lot of stuff. I do think that whilst yes, he's free to question and critique like the UFC and everything like that, I find that he often does it because he's pretty bitter, he's pretty spiteful, and some of the things that he comes out with are borderline. You can see the bias; it's plain to see. So yeah, there's probably bias towing the company line on one end, but I think Ariel Hawani is the other scale of that, where it's just everything the UFC does is wrong. Everything they do is stealing from the fighters and not in the interest of the fighters. And all they want to do is slap women. And you know what I mean? That's literally, hey, that's not funny. So don't you dare laugh at that. It's not a laughing matter.
Oh, they're
Although it
joking
was
about domestic violence.
although it was pretty funny, to be fair.
Oh,
Like,
dude, it's insane. And a lot of people, like, I don't know, Ariel is not really calling for Dana White's job, or I don't think anyone has called for him to step down or anything. But what people don't understand is if a fighter is involved in a domestic violence issue, he's going to lose his job straight away.
hmm.
And people are kind of asking, what's the deal with Dana White? He's involved in this slapgate at the New Year's Eve party. Why hasn't his head been put on a platter in front of ESPN or anyone who's involved with the sponsorship of UFC? It's the way the world works. It's not a fair world we live in, and he's a very powerful guy with a lot of money and a lot of people who depend on him. So that's why he's kind of stuck around, and there's no consequences to his actions.
2 points to that. Number one, I would say I am a little bit surprised that Disney, aka ESPN, have not called for his resignation. I don't think he should be called on to resign, but I'm surprised that it hasn't been called on. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like, because for me personally, I think that should a man, strike a woman? No, no, I'm not really in favor of that. However, if you are a woman hiding behind the fact that a man is not supposed to hit you back, and you hit that man and you're not expecting to be hit back, that makes you a bully and an abuser. That is just that is what that is.
Yep.
Now, should he have lost? And people are saying, yeah, but he shouldn't have lost his temper and hit her back, and there's the whole strength difference and everything. I would argue that he didn't use all his strength. Like, look at the slaps that he got. There is, and people say, "Oh no, that's irrelevant." I think it is a little relevant. It's not the same as John Jones returning his missus to the hotel desk bloody and with a black eye. He
Yeah.
literally did, and they weren't hard slaps. I know that it's not ideal. However,
This is
that does have to be.
murky, murky
Yeah,
territory,
it,
man.
it does have to be taken into account, though. It's not like a Ray Rice situation where he flatlined her. It's not. And people are saying, "Oh, but a man is so much stronger than a woman." It's like, yeah, and all he did was just like return in kind. The second one probably wasn't warranted, but then again, it's just, yeah. For me, neither of them covered themselves in glory here. Was it all just advertising for Slapfest or whatever it is, that thing that he's doing? It may be. I find the timing, quite frankly, dubious.
Yeah. Conspiracy
Dubious at
theories
best.
brewing.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, they both apologise to each other. It seems like it's a very embarrassing situation for both of them, and I kind of agree with Dana in a way where he said, "Look, the punishment is going to be, all everybody like lose a respect for me and all that kind of stuff. But and I still have to go out and face these people on a day. I have to do business with these people, and yeah, I've lost a lot of people's respect, and rightfully so, because what I did was wrong. I shouldn't have done it, but it is what it is. I've apologised, and
Yeah.
hopefully, we can move forward at some point. And I do somewhat agree with that. I'm surprised he hasn't been called for to resign by Disney, because Disney are Disney. But
Woke
then
Disney.
again, yeah, but they're founded by Nazis, so
Yeah.
like,
It's true.
yeah,
It's a very inconsistent and unfair world we live in, dude. But
sure
at
is.
the end of the day, man, you have to remember as well, we live in a very stupid time full of stupid people where this stuff will be outrage for 4 weeks, and then something else will happen and no one will remember anything to do with Dana White and that slap.
So
So
I tell you what isn't inconsistent and unfair. This delicious Club Tropica Tiny Rebel IPA. It is smooth,
IPA.
delicious, and yeah, it's my favorite. Honestly, it's my favorite beer. I didn't realize they had them in like a multi pack at Tesco. So
Say
I'm
that
so
again.
happy with
It
it.
is smooth, delicious. You're selling it to me, bro. Go again.
Smooth, delicious. It's got like tropical notes. It's the lilt. It's lilt for adults.
Lilt
It's
for adults. What's the percentage?
5.5.
That's fair.
Hells yeah, yeah.
That's all
It's
right. You'll
good.
have that.
It's so good. It's so
Yeah,
refreshing.
man.
And it does it.
After
It's
after a long week or at
whew,
least a long day, dude, you sit down, nice cold beer, reflect. You know, you deserve it, man. You're a hard working man.
beautiful.
You
I
do a
am.
lot for a lot of people, and
I do.
you
It's true.
deserve it.
Thank you. Thank you. I do deserve it. And
There you go, man.
thank you for acknowledging that. I
You're
appreciate
welcome.
it.
So, what do you think? I mean, we're here today to talk about the UFC, obviously, all the shenanigans that is the UFC, and specifically the UFC's heavyweight division. It doesn't look good for the organization when your champion is at the end of his contract and you can't keep him in the organization. It's
Mm.
a loaded topic. There's a lot of information that has come out. Um, I guess we'll just bounce back and forth our ideas and see what the people think. Leave us a comment. Let us know if you think we're full of shit on this one. But Bert, how do you feel about losing Francis Ngannou in the UFC?
I feel like, with Francis's story, he did all the sand mining stuff. It turns out he has the personality of a sand mine, let's be fair. And
Very good. Right off the
sorry.
bat.
For me, right, Francis Ngannou, he's exciting to watch because he windmills, he might knock someone out or he might lose devastatingly. But the whole thing, right, he even acknowledged that he went into the negotiation asking for things he fully knew that the UFC weren't going to. He asked for healthcare, like lifelong healthcare for every fighter. That was what he wanted. That's what he walked on. It's like, yeah, very noble, I guess, but there is not a combat sports organization in the world that does lifelong healthcare, right? Who paid for your knee surgery, Francis? Who paid for
He
that?
paid for it himself, right?
No,
No?
no, the UFC paid
Oh,
for that.
because that was an injury
Sustained
sustained
in the
in the
fight.
octagon. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Any injury sustained in the octagon or on UFC property is taken care of by the UFC. It's another advantage of training at the institute, quite frankly.
Right.
They paid for Tony Ferguson's surgery when he busted his ACL, when he tripped over, busted clumsy fuck, right? He tripped over, busted his ACL, and the UFC still, oh yeah, we'll pay for that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No, it was an unfortunate incident. I was being brash. I was being brash and abrasive. You've lost a few viewers already. I'm sorry. I
There you go, man.
apologize
That's
about
what
that.
happens. But if they can't take the heat, get out of the kitchen.
That's right. But back to what I was saying. I just feel like Francis Ngannou was never going to re-sign. They offered him 8 million a fight. Like that. That's coming from Francis as well. Like they offered him 8 million to fight Jones, and I think that they're offering him like a 3-fight deal or something like that. I've heard varying accounts. Some people are saying yeah, but it was like 3 million over 10 fights. I don't think that's true.
No, 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 no,
Um,
no. Did you see the Ariel Hawani interview, the special?
what did he actually say? He said he was it there that he said it was 8 million to fight Jones.
Yeah, he said it was around 8 million. So he didn't confirm it was eight. And he said it was over a 3-fight deal. And his
Yeah,
preferences were John Jones beats Stipe and John Jones.
yeah. He you're right. He never actually confirmed because he talks out of his ass rather a lot. So it's what annoys me about Francis Ngannou. He's like, oh yeah, it's around this, around that. So shut the fuck up. Just tell us the actual number. Jesus Christ. It's
Yeah.
not that hard. Look, if you were in a negotiation and they offered you 8 million, you'd remember it was 8 million, not it's around 8 million. Shut the fuck up, idiot. Can just
Bert's on
anyway.
a Bert's on one tonight, man. This
Yeah,
is why I want to. This is why, dude, I want to stay independent because if we were under a corporation, an umbrella, and we were making, I don't know, 35,000 per episode,
yeah.
then we'd have to curb our language. But talking free like this, dude, it is fucking priceless. What I
It
will
is.
say is with regards to the contractual negotiations, it must be understood Francis Ngannou's first language is not English. His
Fair.
English is very, very moderate, if at all. Um, he represents himself. And when you're dealing with big shot lawyers, the fucking machine that is UFC, like contractual language, the verbal diarrhea that is a contract, you got to be able to interpret it. You got to be, it's more than just negotiating numbers and terms.
It is.
Because you could sign what you think is a phenomenal deal, like the Reebok deal, 7 million over 5 years or something like that. When you realize it's actually peanuts when you break all the language down. And yeah, Francis was asking for the healthcare. He was asking for an advocate for every fighter, which no fucking organization is going to bring. Um, he'd mentioned the private jet as a comment, like not an actual request in the contract. But dude, you gotta. Have you ever received a document and just signed it without reading it?
I do. Every time I buy a video game these days, I scroll through that user agreement. Who reads that? What
Yeah,
my option is to decline it and not play the video game. I don't think that's happening. Going,
yeah,
there are video game companies out there that are probably perfectly entitled to each of my kidneys right now, but it's just, well, you know what? I want to play some chivalry. That's all I want right now.
yeah. But you got to be able to, like, especially when it's for such a high stake, like $8 million sounds fantastic, but it's over 3 fights, so that significantly drops it all off. You got to pay taxes on that. You got to pay for your camps. You're
Oh, don't start with the taxes bullshit, man.
where are you
I
fighting?
hate
Because
that.
if it's
I hate that. I
Vegas,
hate that. I hate that. Right? Because the thing is like, okay, like what I get paid. Like they post my wage, and that is before tax, right? Everybody gets paid before tax. All
yeah,
right. Francis Ngannou is not the first person to have to pay fucking taxes. He's a rich man. Hire a goddamn accountant so that he can square that away for you. It's not that hard, right? I don't go cry. Taxes go to like pay for it. Like there are two certainties in life: death and taxes. Those are the two certainties, and
solid.
it annoys me every time. It's like, oh, but those fighters they have to pay their taxes out of that. So yeah, I have to pay taxes, and I earn a fuck ton less than them. Jesus Christ. Right? And they're like, oh, but they have to pay their coaches. Yeah, damn right they do. Their coaches are the ones that fucking stop them from making stupid ass decisions day in, day out. They're the ones that keep them on track, right? They're the ones that give them all that gambling revenue, Mr. Kraus. You know? It's fucking good. Lord. Yeah, those coaches, they're worth their weight in gold. So yeah, they should get paid. And they only get paid about 10% of their actual revenue. So the better their fighters do, the better they do. But with regards to paying for nutrition, what? You mean buying food? Yeah, because nobody else buys food, do they? Everyone else has their employers buying food for them, don't they? Fucking idiots. God, stop posting all that retarded shit. Honestly, it makes me so mad. I worried I might just hurt myself. That was another Scrubs reference, by the way.
Okay. All right, we got to dissect what Bert is saying here, guys, because I'm getting a little nervous. I'm fortunately nowhere near Bert right now, but if you were next to me, I'd be terrified. Um, Paying taxes, yes, I understand what you're saying, but I would definitely put in the agreements no fights in New York, no fights in New Jersey,
Yeah, fuck that.
because it's
Good lord.
50% tax. I think Vegas is 30,
But
California is
you
25.
cannot blame the UFC for that. It's not that the UFC don't make that. People blame the UFC for that. Blame New Jersey, blame New York. Don't blame the
Yeah,
UFC. They
but your
don't do shit about that.
contract, but your contract's with UFC, and I'm going to tell
Yeah,
UFC,
okay.
guys, I'll fight for you. I'll make that money, but on my terms. I'm not fighting in these states. So that's something that a lawyer could step in and go, hey, my client is all about making this money. He'd like a little bit more, but if you guys are not willing to move on the amount, we need guarantees that we're going to fight in a low tax state. And
Yeah, that's fair.
and that's just standard
Just
contractual.
say, just say, look, due to a few, misadventures, I am no longer welcome in these states. So just
Yeah.
bar these ones off.
Yeah, yeah. There's a
Consider
couple
back.
of hookers that need to be settled up.
Yeah,
But
yeah. So
yeah, so Francis is gone. I'm watching a lot of Chael Sonnen over the last two
no,
days.
Cyril is gone. Had to, had to do it. Had to do it. That was good. Come on.
But so Chael Sonnen has been saying that there's a very strong possibility that he may sign with somebody else and definitely come back if he's successful, which he's more than likely going to be because he's like a modern day Bob Sapp with his physique and
Yeah.
terrifying and blah blah blah. So let's see what happens with Francis Ngannou. It's a huge topic of discussion right now, but in its place, the heavyweight title is vacant. John Jones is fighting Cyril. Cyril is gone. How do you
Cyril
pronounce?
is gone.
How do you pronounce
Yeah.
his name? Is it
No,
Cyril?
it's Cyril.
Cyril
Cyril.
Gane.
Yeah, Cyril gone. Because someone
Yeah.
tried to post it. He tried to say that a meme was funny the other day. It's like when you're trying to make breakfast
Yeah.
and it posted a picture of Cyril Gane. And it's like, for me, that's Cyril Gane, by the way. So
Yeah.
Cyril Gane doesn't even play. And also, if you're making breakfast, that implies if I was getting breakfast, I would go and get some cereal. I'm not making cereal. John,
Yeah.
you're not making it by pouring it out of a goddamn like packet. If you're making breakfast, you're making eggs. So the meme would have been better if it said when you're making breakfast and all the eggs are and then Gane at the bottom, Cyril Gane. That would have been better, but yeah, that made me furious as well. I don't know why.
Tumbleweed.
Yeah, it wasn't my meme. You know what I mean?
It's a very good explanation, though. Solid work. So yeah, we got that fight coming up, March 4th or something like that.
It is March 4th.
Um,
Yes, quite
so
soon, isn't it?
yeah, it's pretty soon.
Yeah.
John Jones, do we give him one more chance? Do we allow him to fight in Vegas? Does he get one more chance to fuck up, beat up a pregnant lady, crash his car, do drugs, be caught with steroids? What other transgressions can we name from that guy?
Yeah, quite a few. But I mean, hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
Right on.
You got to give the people what they want.
So he's most likely going to be the next UFC heavyweight champion.
Oh, I don't know about that.
You think?
Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane's a problem because he's bit like. Thing is people are saying, "Oh, but it would have been better to see him have to go against the size of Francis Ngannou." You watch Francis Ngannou squaring up against Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane's bigger. He's actually a
Yeah,
bigger guy. He's a bigger man. He's a huge man. He sure as shit ain't making 205. He's walking around that weight all day, every day. Whereas John Jones is, bulked up to that weight. And John Jones, yeah, he's got some real skills. But I mean, at a certain point, where does the sport start kind of passing it by? But one thing I would say is that obviously Francis Ngannou was able to shoot takedowns and get Cyril Gane there. But that may have been more to the fact that Cyril Gane wasn't expecting Francis to, oh, you're a wrestler now, you know. Whereas everyone knows John Jones's wrestling pedigree, so surely his coaches also know. If his coaches are worth a shit, they're preparing for John Jones to rely on that wrestling pedigree. Because remember what he did to Brandon Vera, like to smash his head in with elbows from the guard. I think that's going from memory. I think it was from guard.
yeah.
UFC 100, probably on the prelims. I think, but
What what do you think John Jones? Do we even know what John Jones weighs? Because
he
he's
weighs about 260 now,
he's
apparently.
260 now.
Yeah, he's a big
So
dude.
the only thing that I think John Jones is going to lose is speed, but he's not really known for his speed, right? His
No,
fight
he's more known for
IQ.
cocaine.
Yeah.
Oh,
Solid.
oh!
This guy's a comedian, literally. But he's not known for speed. His fight IQ is what got him to the dance and what
Yeah,
keeps him on the top. And I
and the
think
judges.
and the judges and his doctor and drug dealer.
I'm kidding. I actually agree. Every decision that went Jones's way, weirdly enough, I do agree with. I'll go back and I'll watch those fights. Like, you know what? I actually agree. I think that Jones should have won that one. I think it was the right call.
Yeah, we did that with Gustafsson.
Gustafsson, yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know how anybody beats John Jones, dude, apart from Matt Hamill's secret weapon. Pull
Well,
mount.
this is what makes it interesting, isn't it? This is where the jeopardy comes in because yes, we've never seen John Jones get beaten, but we've never seen him fight a heavyweight either. And
Yeah.
Cyril Gane is a real problem. He's so fast for a heavyweight. I think Cyril Gane, there's a good chance that he's the faster guy here. I think he probably got a speed advantage because you saw how quick he was, so quick that you could see how it just changed how Volkov even approached the fight. He realized he couldn't hit him without being hit a few times.
Yeah.
Same with Tai Tuivasa. Eventually, he just succumbs. But again, like Tuivasa put on a great show that night. I was pulling for Tai in that one. I really was. But
Yeah.
it just goes to show that even like Cyril Gane can get into a firefight and he can come out on top of it. I think, honestly, John Jones, to win this fight, he cannot mess around with Cyril Gane on the feet. I just don't think he wins that battle. I think if it stays standing, Cyril Gane wins this all day. I think that we will see John Jones go to his wrestling because we've seen Cyril Gane exposed somewhat in that regard. And whilst I know that John Jones likes to try and beat people at their own game, that's something that he's known for. I don't think that's the smartest path to victory in your first fight back after a million years, and you want to strike with one of the most feared strikers in the heavyweight division. I don't think that's a smart play. But no one's ever accused John Jones of being smart other than his fight IQ. You know what I mean?
It's such an interesting topic for debate because how do we judge? Ring rust didn't seem to be a problem for him the last time. The fact that the fucking crowd hates him and boo him.
Yeah, Dom Cruz doesn't believe in ring rust as well. I'd just like to throw that out there.
That's
doesn't
true.
Believe in it.
He also doesn't believe in Khabib beating up Conor in round 2. He also just thinks that Conor is trying to gas out Khabib. I remember that.
Oh shit, he did say that, didn't he?
That was the funniest UFC moment in history.
When Joe Rogan, what did he turn around to him? He's like, no,
I don't think
he's
he's getting smashed.
He's getting smashed right now, man. Brilliant.
But Dom Cruz after that long layoff came in against some Asian dude and beat the shit out of him, right?
He did.
Yeah. But I don't know, man. Aside from all of John Jones's transgressions outside the cage, whether it be drugs, beating up women, pregnant women,
just generally having a good time.
Headbang. He assaulted a cop car. The headbanging. Yeah. Did you see the video? The
yeah, it's brilliant.
Headbang.
Yeah.
Off.
You know what? That's what I want in a fighter. Less so than a UFC president, but it's what I want in a fighter. I want that wild. He's a wild man. He's a wild man. That's what we get. And you want the sausage, but you don't want to see how the sausage is made.
There you go, man. And who doesn't love sausage?
Exactly. Everyone loves sausage, especially in their mouth.
Solid. Solid effort right there. We're comedians, guys. That's what she said. But yeah, I don't know, man. I can't bet. I biased. I think he's a piece of shit, but you can't bet against John Jones, especially. I don't know, dude. Do you think Cyril Gane has a chance against John Jones? A puncher's chance 100%. Or a real chance?
No, a real chance. John Jones has to get those takedowns, right? And he's not used to trying to take down heavyweights. I mean, I don't know. Okay. He probably trains with heavyweights all the time, blah, 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 blah. But that's not in an optimal situation. He sure as hell hasn't fought Cyril Gane. I don't think he's fought anyone of that size that fights like Cyril Gane because there isn't really anyone. That's the thing. That's why Cyril Gane always impressed me much more than Francis in a way, because Francis, he's spectacular, but there are other fighters who can emulate that. Like big heavyweights, big punching power, no fucking technique whatsoever, just swing for the fences. Whereas Cyril Gane is not only a monster size-wise, but he's also just so technically good that it's frightening. And I actually think that Cyril Gane is probably a worse matchup for John Jones than Francis Ngannou, if I'm honest.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Wow.
I think Francis Ngannou I think the first thing that John Jones would do with Francis Ngannou is a oblique kick to the knees. He just has that knee surgery, pops it right out. I think John Jones dances around Francis Ngannou. Francis swings for the fences and just... I don't think that goes well for Francis Ngannou. Cyril Gane, I feel like that's a different... That's a slightly more interesting fight. For me personally. I'm glad Francis is gone. Good riddance. Bad rubbish.
Yeah, okay. See, this is why I like listening to you. I feel bad for Francis as well, but This is why I like listening to your stuff, because I come into an argument fully convinced that I'm right. And then I hear your argument and it's like, you know what? That makes a lot of fucking sense, you know? When you see what Francis did against Alistair Overeem, and then
Mm.
you see what happened to Francis against
Stipe.
DC or Stipe, yeah.
Mm.
Like you just it's a puncher's chance at heavyweight, isn't it? One
Yeah.
shot and it's
Don't
done.
don't get me wrong. It's a hell of a weapon to have, but I mean, look at what he did against Jairzinho Rozenstruik. I just feel like, uh, yeah, he won by devastating knockout, but I don't. But I think that is the worst you can look whilst getting a devastating knockout. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Because he just chin was wide out, like any wrestler worth their salt would have taken him right down. And honestly, I think that Jairzinho's annoyed at himself for letting that happen to him, because Jairzinho Rozenstruik is probably technically, from a technical standpoint, he's probably twice the striker that Ngannou is. Like, I still believe that. I still like look at Rozenstruik in his last few fights. He's looked sensational.
Yeah.
He's someone else that's in the heavyweight division that you need to keep an eye on, because he's found a little bit of confidence. He used to start really slow, and that was what used to really hamper him. But now he's started kind of believing in his abilities a little bit, and he's such a good kickboxer, and he just looks like a scary guy. I wouldn't want to be, in a dark alleyway with Jairzinho Rozenstruik, or a dark alleyway with most people, honestly.
Yeah. Or any
I don't
heavyweight,
want to be.
really.
I don't want to be in a dark alleyway. Full stop. Why are you in a dark alleyway for? What are you dealing drugs? Huh? Is that what
Speaking
you
of
do? Huh?
speaking of dark alleys, dude, you know, prostitution here in Switzerland and escort services, it's all legal. And
Nice.
the WEF are
I
here
knew
in,
there was a reason you moved over there.
yeah, yeah. The
Fair play.
hey, hashtag
I
married.
bet you're making a lot of money as an escort.
Hashtag married.
Whoa!
The WEF are over in Davos, which is a couple of 200 kilometers from here. One of the main pimps went to the media and said, just so everyone is aware, all the big guns from the world are here, all the big politicians and all the big suits, and our business is booming.
Yeah, damn right.
Solid work right there,
Look,
man.
if everybody, look, my take on that kind of thing is that if everybody is on board with the transaction, then what is the problem? Like, I don't
Oh
want
yeah, no,
anyone
I couldn't
taken.
agree
I
more.
don't want anyone to be taken advantage of. I don't want anyone to be exploited, which obviously does happen, and that is a real shame. But if everyone's on board with the transaction, I do not see what the problem is. It's two people that are making a transaction. That's it.
Couldn't agree more, man. I gotta venture out into my own transaction right now.
Mm. Woo!
How do we edit that out? I don't know.
Oh,
Bert,
yeah.
thank you very much for sharing your 2 cents. I always love listening to you and your knowledge. It shapes my opinion. Like, I don't want anyone to think that I'm under the illusion through my own narcissism that I get my own opinion and give it to the world. I take little pieces from everybody and I look at the news, I look at what's being said, I come to my own conclusions and then I shove it out to the world. But yeah, dude, it's an absolute pleasure listening to you. I watched your episode today for the breakdown at the weekend, and yeah, more insights, dude, more knowledge in my head.
Well, yeah, I appreciate that, man. I really do. And again, same to you. I love listening to all of your that Genghis one. I watched it again. I was like, that's an interesting cat.
I
It's an
love it.
interesting cat. But yeah, no, yeah, same to you, man. Like I said, follow Dave. Look, just hit the subscribe button. If you haven't already, shame on you. Head over
Yeah,
to the Burt Locker. Hit subscribe. If you haven't already, shame on you. And in the words of Matt McCusker, suck my dick to all my enemies.
solid advice, man. I love it. To all the enemies, friends and enemies. Why limit
Yeah.
ourselves, right?
I don't know if I want my enemies sucking my dick, honestly, because I mean, it's fraught with potential peril, isn't it?
There you go, man. That's misogyny 101 right there,
Ah,
huh?
walked into that one.
What a tasteful way to end the episode, don't you say?
It's pretty nice. It's tasty. It's delicious. Club Tropica
Lilt for adults.
by Tiny Rebel. Smooth and delicious.
There you go, man. Bert, pleasure as always, my friend.
Yes. Take care.
We'll do another one.
Thank you.
Rock and roll, everybody.